again, everybody. Thanks for sharing part of your day with us. It is the Adam Jones podcast presented by the Baltimore Banner. He's Adam Jones. I'm Jerry Coleman. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Today in episode 3, we shall address the Ravens. Sure, they're 5-3, but more importantly, is the play calling where it needs to be right now? Plus, Adam will rant about trick-or-treaters who may be too old, like north of 12 years old. Yeah, that's too old. We'll salute our Baltimore Banner varsity high school athlete of the week. It's actually some co-athletes we'll tell you about playing some great golf. Adam will break down the pressures of playoff baseball, something he's very intimately, as I said the first time, familiar with. Also, we'll debate how much space an athlete should have when they're out in public. After all, they are public figures. Plus, reluctantly, we're going to have to show you Adam's dangerous pieing of myself during our photo shoot last week, which really went awry. But as we speak, we will tell you we have a very special guest coming up in a couple of moments. You won't want to go anywhere. As Ravens All-Pro, you can't stop laughing over the pie. Ravens All-Pro kicker Justin Tucker, who would never throw a pie in my face. He's a lot more civil. He will join us coming up in moments. Of course, we're brought to you by our friends at Jack Daniels. There are a lot of ways to make whiskeys, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. Make it count, Jack Daniels. Drink responsibly. Also, if you guys are enjoying this podcast, make sure to check out the Baltimore Banner. They're covering the Ravens, the Terps, the Orioles, and everything newsworthy across the region. As a special thanks to our listeners, the Banner's offering 6 weeks of unlimited digital access for just $1. Just head to BaltimoreBanner.com/AJ to get that bargain. Again, 6 weeks unlimited digital access. Just head to BaltimoreBanner.com/AJ and get it for $1. Also brought to you by Be More Around Town. They have the ultimate tailgate experience, all inclusive, home and away. Head to BeMoreAroundTown.com and our friends at G-Leaf Medical Cannabis Company. Visit gleaf.com. Medical cannabis is for qualified patients in Maryland only. All right, let's get to it, Adam, with For the Bird. And the play calling is once again, despite this team being 5-3 under scrutiny. Yeah. And in their last game, I thought they got too pass heavy in the first half. Then they turned it to a run game in the second half. Greg Roman, the much maligned offensive coordinator who goes back to 2019, best buddies with John Harbaugh. Are they getting the best use of their personnel? I guess I'm going to ask you under Roman.
Well, I mean, it's what sucks is that they just lost Bateman for an extensive period of time. But I think sometimes it's just dictated by how they're being played, you know, and sometimes you need to pass early. Sometimes you need to run. Now, if they ran 30 times in the first half, you say, well, they're not passing. Since they passed 30 times, now they're not running the ball. The second half, what they do, they switched it up and they ran the ball a lot. They had a lot more efficient drives. And again, you're playing against Tom Brady. I know they've been terrible. Oh, they've been terrible. But name is Tom Brady. And the back on that jersey, the name on the back of that jersey still is prevalent. So, you know, I think it's like a mental thing when you play against him, Rodgers and Breeze and all these certain guys. It's like, I got to put up a lot of points early or because they're probably going to do it. And, you know, sometimes teams get in the pass heavy, and that's how sometimes you end up down, and then you have to pass even more. And we know you've watched a lot more football than I have, that, you know, when the team knows what you're doing, they can stop it. But the Ravens, to me, they're it's like the inconsistently consistent. You know, they get the job done, but it doesn't look pretty. And that's Ravens football. It's like, if you go back to me being here early in my career, like that's how it was. It was hard-nosed, by any means necessary, get the job done. And sometimes it looks pretty, sometimes it doesn't, but they're getting the job done. So it's kind of like you're frustrated, but you're happy because they won, but you're still frustrated that, we should have, we're missing this and this. But that's why I tell people, stop tweeting during live games. Just watch the game and then tweet afterwards. And then I think the whole social media world and everybody's reactions would be a lot less dramatic.
Let's try and make the analogy to baseball, the sport you played, in a major league clubhouse, a coach or manager who is not swift when it comes to making adjustments. Let's say a hitting coach who gets a blame or gets fired because the team isn't hitting collectively. Right. How fair is that to point at the coaching as opposed to the players looking in the mirror?
Well, I mean, obviously, you got to look into the damn mirror. I mean, in the end of the day, the coach can give you the play, 15 seconds after in the NFL, it goes silent, I believe, in the headphones. So it's up to them. It's like, go play. We called the play. We prepared you. Like I said, baseball, all the coaches can do is prepare you for the situation. That's all they can do. They can't do anything else. Once the situation's about to happen, they can't get in there in the box and help you hit. They can't get there and make you make a defensive play. They can't read the defense. So the coaches just are trying to put you in the best scenario to succeed. That's all the coaches have ever tried to do. My coaches, and I know other coaches. So it's up to the players. If you don't get the job done, ain't no blame going to them. Now they get fired, yeah, because you're not firing a player making $8 million, $6 million. You know what I mean? You're not firing a player like that. You can fire a coach that's making 5, 6, 800,000. They make a lot of money too, but you can fire them and then bring in another one. But I've always looked in the mirror. If I made a mistake, it was never the hitting coach's fault. Like, hitting coach had his career. It's up to you to go, do yours. But the blame is always going to go to the coaching staff. When the team doesn't win, the head coach usually gets canned. So it's the sorry part about sports. And, again, when fans see that a play didn't work or their offense is getting burned this way or this is in that and that, then they always, jump to the coach. But at the end of the day, those players, they can see and read and decipher the defenses just as well as everybody else. So it's a blame game. That's what they always try to play. But nah. If you didn't get the hit, you didn't make the tackle, that's your fault. It's not the coach's fault. The coach had his career. He's over there in khakis. It's not his fault.
Don't you want to try and keep everyone engaged? In other words, they had a half where they ran the ball 7 times, threw it 30. Yeah. I'm sure the running backs were saying, okay, where's the ball?
But sometimes that's part of the offense. That's why I said, like, when you go and play in a Tom Brady led offense or just offenses, just quarterbacks that can put up 2-3 touchdowns in the first half. Sometimes I think offenses be like, I got to score against these guys. And majority of the way we think scoring is throwing the ball. The Ravens' bread and butter is the run pass option because they have the most dynamic quarterback in the league. So it's always that oxymoron. Do you throw it? Do you run it? But I just think that when you have a offensive force presence like Tom Brady on the other side, it's like, I got to score runs. But it's just hopefully next week when they're playing in New Orleans with a different offensive weapon, Dalton or Winston, they're not Tom Brady. They're good, but they're not Tom Brady. I think that it could be a completely different style, and you'd be like, oh, well, all right, the Ravens are back to their game when they win 31-14, and you won't even be complaining about it like you always do, Gerald.
Well, they're trying to work on a winning streak right now, and you're right.
2.
When they win,
2
in a row, trying
streak.
Well, it is. 3 in a row would be a lot better, but you never, and it's always a bad look. You would agree. Yeah. You can't complain about your targets or lack of touches after a loss, or you can, I should say.
Yeah, you
after
can.
a win, it's a really bad look. Just like with a baseball player, if they complain about something after a win, it doesn't go over well with a lot of people. It's like, dude, you won the game. That's the 100%. Most important thing.
100%. But at the same time, you want to contribute. But again, when you lose, there's always going to be finger pointing. When you win, everybody's always, you get happier. I play with guys that if we win and they were 0 for 4, they were not happy. But if we lost and they was 3 for 4, 2 for 4, had a home run, they was happy. And I'm like, you just got our asses handed to us and you smiling over there and all that kind of stuff. Like, no. And then when we win, you the whole opposite, like celebrate with us. And like the whole point of any game that you play is to win it. And, obviously there's 27 outs in baseball. So there's going to be outs to be made. In football, there's, generally get maybe 60 to 70 plays on offense. There's not all of them not going to be positive gains. So there's going to be some negative yardage, negative at bats, and bad shots in basketball, missed goals in hockey, soccer, but you just got to keep going. And if your goal is to win at the end of when the out is made, the buzzer, the whistle, and if you win, you should be extremely happy because you gave it your all. You sacrificed something in that game for it to help to win. Sometimes you think that your 0 for 4 meant nothing. No, your 0 for 4 meant something. Sometimes you have 1 catch for 5 yards, but you might have sprung 2 incredible runs by blocks. Like that's the sport. And when people always get selfish in the sport, you see their asses generally be gone. And the ones that are selfless, they generally stay a little bit longer because people see those attributes in them.
All right, that wraps up our For the Birds segment. Our Ravens talk will continue in a moment with a very special guest who has a lot to do with the outcome of games. But our For the Birds segment brought to you, as always, by our friends over at Be More Around Town, BeMoreAroundTown.com. They have the ultimate all-inclusive pregame purple tailgate experience before every home and away game. Still some spots available for that Jacksonville trip the New Orleans trip is going to be off the hook. They had more than 900 fans down in Tampa. You could see them. Head to BeMoreAroundTown.com to be a part of the fun. And up next, let's bring in a guy that Ravens fans have known for the last decade because all he does is wins games for this team, and he is Justin Tucker. Let's talk to Tuck. Well, our featured guest this week, we are so pleased to have here on the Adam Jones podcast at thebaltimorebanner.com, a face very familiar to sports fans out there, not just in Baltimore, but usually football players are kind of anonymous, Adam, because they're always wearing a helmet a lot of times. Not our next guest, because you can see him outside of his helmet on the sidelines a lot of times, also on your television. He is Justin Tucker. Justin, thanks for joining us. We do appreciate it. And, man, what a year and what a career it's been so far, and we appreciate you taking the time. We know you're in very high demand.
Of course, Jerry and Adam and all you guys. Thanks for letting me share a couple minutes with you guys. Appreciate it.
Anytime, man. It's always good to catch up with you. Driving in today, I see I'm still in Baltimore, and I see you. Oh, nice. Would you like a 6-piece? Justin Tucker. So it's good to see you everywhere. The smile in your own commercials. I mean, I seen a commercial today about you just had played like 6 different roles, and obviously you're such a thespian. So it's always good to see your personality. Obviously, between the lines, you are who you are, but outside the lines, you are also, and that's just an amazing human being. So appreciate the time, and hopefully we can dig into that kicker's brain.
Hey, let's do it. I'm ready.
All right, I got to ask one quick question, because on last week's podcast, or maybe it was our first podcast, Justin, there was a claim made by my co-host, Adam Jones, that he initially turned down the Royal Farms commercial, and that paved the way for you and stardom.
I don't know much about that or what goes on behind the scenes with the ROFO higher ups, except that I could totally see that being a thing. I mean, Hello Nada to Adam Jones to at one point Joey Rickard and I had a couple of spots. So the passing of the proverbial fried chicken torch in Baltimore, it could totally make sense that it would go to another athlete in town. And I'm just honored that I ended up with said torch. It's been an honor, and it's not one that I take lightly.
Dude, I remember when they first asked me, I'm like, black man selling chicken. Okay, I don't know if I could do that. I should have did it, but at the time, I just didn't want to do anything. I wanted to focus on baseball, but I should have did it because I love the creativity. That's the best part, is the creativity that you show. But me, I want to know how's that golf game. I came out here a couple months ago and we tore up BCC, not in a good way, not in a good way at all. So how's the golf game been? I know you don't have as much time, obviously, but have you been able to get out there on the links a little bit?
I think the last time I got out there to swing the sticks was with you and our buddy Bill. No, the golf game is still suffering. I think it's a really good day if I'm breaking triple digits. So, I can hit it a mile, every once in a while. So I got that, I got that going for me, which is nice, if we're going to stay with the golf theme there. But no, golf game is still hot garbage.
Don't worry about it. Mine is too. Jerry's is even worse, I'm assuming.
I can't play it all except miniature golf. One thing you guys do have in common is pristine images. I mean, you both have been in the Baltimore sports scene for over a decade now 10 years for you, Justin. Adam, you've been around for a while as well. And in this age of social media where, people find ways to pick on people in certain ways, your images, respectively, have remained pretty cool and pretty clear so far, and hopefully I'm not jinxing anyone.
Oh, geez. Well, yeah, thanks for saying that, man. I really just, I kind of chalk that all up to, just being in a town with a lot of great people, man. And, being supported by, for me, my amazing family, my wife and my son. And then just having, great teammates and great coaches, like I said, just, great people around, great people around us. We also recognize that Baltimore it's like a smaller sports town. It's a smaller town, but it's a big sports town. People love their birds, and the love is definitely reciprocated. So, yeah, man, I'll leave it at that.
All right. On those lines, legacy, because you're not 3-4 years in, 5-6 good. No, this is a decade of being pretty damn good. It's hard to say, as you know. You know it too. You know you're good. Legacy. I was asked this question as I got a little bit older, and I always was like, yeah, I'm not really thinking about it because I'm still involved with it, and but now I'm done with it. I'm able to think about it and share the moments with my kids and friends about like, oh, that moment was cool, because I'm able to sit down and analyze it. Do you sometimes sit back and be like, I'm pretty damn good. What I'm doing is special. Like you said, you're around a great team. You have the city, like you said, is when you're winning here, oh man, it's the best sports town to be in. And
No doubt.
do you
No
really
doubt.
think about your legacy at this point, or are you still just riding the wave, which is a pretty damn good wave?
I would say both. To peel back the onion a little bit. Yeah, man, I'd be, I just to be perfectly honest, yeah, you do think about that stuff sometimes. But more importantly, like while you're riding the wave, you've got to, focus on putting one foot in front of the other, and all of the other sports cliches that they're cliches for a reason. It's because they are true, and they do, serve the athlete well when they are followed. But at the same time, I'm at a point, I feel like now, where I can look back and look forward, with a big smile on my face and a song in my heart about what it means to play, for the Baltimore Ravens. And then, the one other thing I'll say, as far as, thinking about my quote unquote legacy, or, like as Big Ray would say, like, how have I left my mark? I think about, my approach to the game may be a little different now than it was 10 years ago, but it's still put one foot in front of the other, be where your feet are, make, each kick for what it's worth, take them one at a time, and focus less on being the best and focus on being great. And what I mean by that is, when it's all said and done, like at the end of a given football season, the best team is the one that was able to be consistently good. And then in the biggest moments, elevate and be great. So, that's where I feel like I'm trying to be. And it's certainly a challenge, but that's where I feel like I'm trying to be now. And a lot of us on this 2022 Ravens team, that's where we're trying to find ourselves, so we can put ourselves in a position down the stretch to not only be competitive, but win, and bring back another Lombardi in February. That's where we're at.
It is the Adam Jones podcast. Jerry Coleman, Adam Jones, joined by Ravens kicker Justin Tucker. And, I've heard other people refer to you as the GOAT. That's a term that goes around a lot these days, whether it be LeBron or Tiger or guys, Tom Brady. I'm kind of comfortable with Tom Brady right now. How comfortable are you with the title of?
And the rest of those are GOATs too.
I understand. Well,
he's a hater. Jerry's a hater.
No, Jordan's the GOAT. Jack Nicklaus is the GOAT. Tom Brady's the GOAT. Justin, you're on your way. Are you uncomfortable when people give you that title while you're still playing? The career's not over yet.
I don't know if I would say I'm uncomfortable. I feel like it's definitely, it's an honor to be in that conversation. I feel like it's really nice of folks to say. But as soon as I feel like it's a tale as old as time. As soon as you start actually thinking you're sweet and you start believing it, and then you start talking about yourself in a way that, is out of pocket, then that's when stuff kind of gets like a little crazy on the field for a guy, or on the court. So, sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult than other times to, like rein it in and, do that whole take it one kick at a time thing, and, just focus on the task at hand, when sometimes, like NFL football is so big, and there's such a huge audience, a preseason game, for goodness sakes, is commanding like a multi-million, person audience, and that's on par with like, game 6 or 7 of the Stanley Cup finals. Not to say hockey isn't incredible. It's just that football in the United States is huge. So, having that attention and having those eyes, and then, being on the receiving end of the positive remarks and the accolades and the individual honors, that's all good and well. That's really, really fun. But, what I think should drive and I think what does drive the greatest athletes that have done it in their respective sports is, being great and winning championships. And when you play team games, you have to, there is a team around you. There's a team involved, and sometimes you have to ride the wave. Sometimes you have to be the wave. Even individual sports. I mean, you look at you mentioned Tiger Woods. Like, he's one of my favorite athletes. I think he would probably be one of the first people to say, like, when somebody says, "Hey, you're the GOAT," he'd probably say, and I'm just going out on a limb here, "Well, I've got great people around me." He's got a swing coach. He's got like this team around the guy to breed championships and excellent performances. MJ would definitely say the same thing. You can point to any and all of the kind of the best athletes that have ever done it. I mean, like Tom Brady, he's undoubtedly the GOAT. And I've seen and heard his remarks before when people ask him the same question, like, how do you feel about when people tell you you're the GOAT? I think he's said pretty consistently, I've always had a great team around me. Like, you don't just win Lombardis on your own. You do it with, 50 some odd of your teammates, and then, 10 to 30 of your coaches. And then, there's a front office, there's support staff, there's the folks working in the cafeteria, and the firemen, helping us out with the menial tasks around the building. So, yeah, man, like there's always a team around great performances, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
That's a great answer. I'm gonna got a 2-part question, and we talked to Tori about this last week. Grass versus turf, not anything else.
Mm-hmm.
So as a kicker, obviously you have to make sure that your footing is utmost important. And I've seen you last week trying from 70. How far can you really kick it? But does it really affect you, grass versus turf? I mean, again, the grass is very important. Your footing is very important. If it's raining, the conditions change a lot of things. But for you as a kicker, what's the better surface actually to kick off of?
Yeah. So the 10,000 foot view is, it all matters. So whenever I'm playing in a football game, I'm not playing the other team necessarily. I'm kind of battling the elements, the field, and like what's going on in my own mind. That all said, it's still a game where you got to score more points than the other team. And anytime I'm going out there, I'm expected to score. It all does matter as long as you're thinking about it in the right way. So grass versus turf, like I certainly prefer grass over turf. I think grass is a little bit more manageable. It has more give. Whereas turf, if there's like a little precipitation, it can get like pretty slippery, or one spot to the next can have, more or fewer of those kind of like little rubber granules, little pellets. And then like as soon as I kick a ball, like I graze the ground with my right foot, and then the little pebbles like spray up in like the holder's face, and it's like just really annoying. They don't like that. And then I know for a lot of the guys that actually do the real physical work on a given Sunday, running, planting, falling down on like the artificial turf surfaces is certainly, from what I understand, a lot more difficult than the impact that the impact that you feel from playing on a grass surface. Like when we went from turf to grass in from 2015 to 2016 at our stadium, I know almost all the guys noticed like an immediate difference in how much better everyone felt. And like for me, like I get a better plant, a more consistent, even if we're dealing with wind and rain and all that stuff, I feel like I get a better feel for the ground underneath my plant foot on a grass surface than I do on a turf one.
Well, next up, you guys have one game in 23 days, which is a nice little break. You're headed back to the site of where you won your last Super Bowl. It just had the 10-year anniversary in New Orleans. is where you guys are headed. But on Monday Night Football this past week, Peyton Manning was really, really going out of his way to beg and plead to you to come on the ManningCast. I don't know if he realized when he said this that you're going to be busy next week. Let's give it a listen.
Eli, you wanted President Obama as a guest on your show. I want Justin Tucker. That's who I want to be a guest on this show. Shout out to refs tonight. Shout out to kickers. Let's see if this guy can channel Justin Tucker here and make this with his mustache.
You're like a whole new person. I've never heard you speak so highly of kickers and or refs.
Now, you're tied up next Monday. Has your phone been just buzzing off the hook? And has Peyton reached out to you just yet? Or is he trying to do it via TV?
I think it's a little bit of everything. So about a week ago, my agent reached out to me and he said, "Hey, the ManningCast guys, they want the production guys from the ManningCast want you to come on Monday Night Football this week." And it was Halloween, so we actually saw Adam last night as we were trick or treating. Adam's costume was incredible. It was very scary.
Are you sure it was a costume?
That's a great point, Jerry. No, I'm not. I very well could have just been Adam. But no, man. We were trick or treating. We had anybody who has kids knows that, and we're finding this out this year, especially that anyone who has kids knows that at Halloween time, there are a million Halloween themed events all in the span of 4 or 5 days. We have another one tonight. Halloween's over and we have another one tonight, mind you. So our son Easton, he's 6 years old. He's getting a lot of use out of his ninja outfit with the little ninja stars and the swords. His costume's pretty lit. And then he was Sonic the Hedgehog one night. But no, I had to we were enjoying the Halloween festivities yesterday, so we were trick or treating with him, and then we had a kind of Ravens team get together. A bunch of the guys on the team and wives, girlfriends, significant others. We all dressed up and just went bowling and played games and stuff. So we were a little bit locked up while the ManningCast was airing. So regrettably, I had to decline this go around, and then I realized after the fact that who do I think I am that I'm turning down these guys when you've got former presidents on there, and so I'm sure it's in the works. We'll make it happen. I don't think I'm comfortable doing a live interview during the game like that's happening in MLB right now. I don't think
I hate those. I can't stand those, and I know Coach Harbaugh would veto that immediately.
That's because you're uncomfortable talking.
I think Harbs might be fine with it, but I'm not. I don't like it. Plus, no one wants to hear what I'm not really saying anything anyways. My end of the bench is the calm zone where we barely even talk to each other. We just kind of sit there while the defense is out on the field. People would be very, very bored. So I'll give you an example of what it would look like if I was on the ManningCast live, during a football game. Okay, ready? And here it is. Okay. Oh, it's fourth down. Okay, and then people would not be. People would not be very entertained by that. I don't know. I'm just. That's my opinion. So
you don't know what plays being called.
At some point, I would love to go on there because those guys are a hoot, and a couple of amazing football players that have great insight. It would be fun to go on, no doubt.
Oh, that's awesome. It's amazing.
It really is. All right. Well, we appreciate you taking your time. It's very valuable, even though one game in 23 days. So you got a lot of family time ahead as well. Yep. It's a nice span for you guys to stack some wins, as the coach says, Justin.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, brother. Have a good time. Stay healthy. Rally the troops. Get some rest. You guys won again one game in 23 days. So you guys should be very, very well rested and ready for that second half of the season to smack folks.
Oh, hell yeah. It's going to be lit.
All
right, guys.
JT. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Wow. Tucker was pretty awesome, just special. Like he is on the field.
A special individual. I'm glad to call him my friend and my brother. And he's going to keep on kicking because that's what he does and selling that chicken.
Not going anywhere anytime soon. He did reference Halloween. I don't know how much chicken he got for Halloween, but I know you were out trick-or-treating, like Justin said, with the kids here in America. They may do it differently in Spain, but one thing I do notice when the people come to the door, if you're older than 12, you're not getting a treat from me. I'm just telling you, you're not getting the candy. It's reserved for the kids. What is your experience? It's time for Adam's Heckle D's rant. I've done enough complaining. What's your rant about when it comes to trick-or-treating?
My rant is when it comes to trick-or-treating these old-ass kids these days, okay? Last night I was out trick-or-treating with my kids. I was dressed up, but I ain't had no bucket or no bag or no, back in the day, have the pillowcase. But you just got these kids that are 15, 16, 17 years old now trying to go get candy. Now, if you're out there with a costume on with your friends and you got your little brother, little sister, cousins, all that kind of stuff, I think that's good. But if you're out there seriously with a group of kids at your age and you're just out there trick-or-treating, what you doing? Go to a party, get some friends and meet up. You know what I mean? Go to have a gathering at a house. You don't need to be parading the streets asking people for candy. You got your adult teeth in now. Them things just gonna rot out. So you guys just need to relax. Some kid last night said, "Oh, your costume is okay. It ain't that scary." And I said, "Man, you a little bit too damn old to be out here trick-or-treating." He was like, "Man, I'm only 14. I said, "You way too old to be trick-or-treating out here. Where's your little brother?" He didn't have one. He was out there with two other friends of his. Okay. So these little kids, you little teenagers, you got your adult teeth. You don't need that candy no more. Okay. Walk around with your little brother, with your cousin, and stop asking people for candy. You rotted teeth. Damn.
There has to be a cutoff period, and I think 12 is the right age. Anything above that, no, stay at home.
Yeah.
Of course, I know they weren't giving out Jack Daniels because that's not for the kids, but it is for the adults. Adam's rant is always brought to you by Jack Daniels. They have a history of making whiskey, and if they have it their way, they always will. But there's one thing Jack can't make more of, and that's moments. That's on us to create. So let's make sure we're making the most of every moment we make. Make it count. Jack Daniels, drink responsibly. Again, you're watching and listening via YouTube and the BaltimoreBanner.com, the Adam Jones podcast. I'm Jerry Coleman. He's Adam Jones. Let's venture beyond Baltimore. The World Series very much underway, Adam, and the postseason pressure is something you're very familiar with, AJ, because it's tangible, and you have experience, as I said, with that. How much pressure is there once you enter October, and now we're into November baseball?
Yeah, I mean, not much. We got there 3 times, which was great. I mean, 3 more times than a lot of people. But it's micromanaged now. Like if you see you watch the games, it's so micromanaged now. Like managers will let their guys go 80, 90, 100 pitches. I think the only time this whole entire postseason you've seen anybody be even allowed to get out of any situation was Verlander. And when he gave up the extra base hit to Realmuto in top 5th. Usually when, a starter gives up 2-3 runs, a base hit damn near these days, they got the bullpen warming up. And I'm like, let these guys get out. But, Dusty said, I'm not taking Verlander out in that situation.
That's what I love about Dusty. He doesn't care about the computer.
Right. No, it's his game. So he's like, but every other starter in baseball, would be taken out. And, it's just like weird to see, like, dude, these dudes are the dudes like Nola, Wheeler, obviously Verlander, McCullers. These guys are dudes. And it's just like, they micromanage everything. And I get it. These games are very important. You got a lot of good arms down there. Both teams have great arms. I get it. But like your starter got you here for a reason. And let the guys, this is his last start of the season. Let him go out there and let it rip. So everything's just micromanaged. At bats, they're tough. It's tough. You buckle down. Like we talked earlier, you have to buckle down in these situations and strip all your personal ego and just be like, look, I don't care how I get it done. I'm gonna get it done. There's going to be guys that is going to hit 182 in the postseason, but it's going to be the best 182, a tough 182 with good at bats, passing the baton, certain things that, it doesn't look good in paper, but in that dugout, in the fan base, they know that like this dude did these little things to help me win. And, fans are looking at it. Fans care about these kind of things in this situation.
Well, as someone who has played and watched playoff baseball in person, how much is there a home field advantage in postseason baseball? Is there an impact?
It is. Oh, yeah, big time. But it's but depending on the ballpark, certain ballparks. Like I was talking to some friends that was down in Houston. They were like, "Well, Houston was great, but it's not Philly. New York is great, but it ain't Philly." I was in San Diego. San Diego was great against the Dodgers, because we just hate the Dodgers. We've hated them forever. And it's like Baltimore, Pittsburgh. It's like that Baltimore, Pittsburgh, that game right there goes nuts. And it's different than Baltimore versus, Cincinnati, Baltimore, Cleveland. It's different. But, everything's micromanaged, and you have to, I don't know, really, when it comes to it, you just got to just do what you got to do to figure it out, because if you don't, you're going to lose. And you just got to be selfless in these moments.
All right, real quickly, it's been about 5 years. The reputation the Astros have of being cheaters, is that in the past, in the rearview mirror in your mind, or because there's still some guys on the team, it's still talk worthy?
Well, they're still going to get booed and all that kind of stuff. Altuve is going to always get booed, I think, for the rest of his career. Some guys, Carrera was on the road getting booed, Bregman, Springer. I just think that it's going to be part of that title. But at the end of the day, they're still there 5 years later. Like, they went to 4 of the last 6 World Series. Like, you got to say something about them being good at this point. You can say, well, look, they did all this kind of stuff, which all teams are doing. Some teams do it better than others. Don't fault them. Yeah, some teams do it better than others. But they're good. Sometimes you have to just appreciate and respect that bloodline that they've produced there. And what's great about it is that the bloodline produced is by Elias. So hopefully he can do the same thing with these guys back here. And that's a nice smile. But he could do some wonders. The same thing he did in Houston, he can do here in Baltimore. So I think, they're good. You have to tip your cap to it. They brought in some older veterans to fill in the pieces to help these younger guys, and they're just good. And respect that sometimes. Just like, they're good. And when they go on the road and beating people's butts, are they doing anything? No, they're just beating you. So sometimes you just have to respect their gangster and be like, look, are they good? Tip your cap.
Though, time now for the Baltimore Banner's Varsity Sports Network Athlete of the Week, or shall I say co-athletes. They are out. It is River Hills' Benjamin Seaboree and Helen Young, and they are both the Baltimore Banner's Varsity Sports Co-Athletes of the Week. They each won their second consecutive Maryland State Individual Golf Championship in Class 3A and 4A at the University of Maryland Golf Course. Of course, I'm sure Adam shot above 80 on if he ever played there. In doing so, though, they helped River Hill win the first ever team state championship, first time in the school's history, while becoming the first Howard County school to ever win a state team title in 3A and 4A golf. So Siri Borey broke his own boys state record with a 2-day total of 132. Young shot a 6 under, and she won the girls' championship by a mere 13 strokes. Earlier last week, Young also won her second career Howard County individual title. So congratulations, Adam, to both golfers at River Hill. We know, as you were just talking with Justin earlier in the podcast, not an easy game to master, and that's why I never play.
No, congratulations to you both. Can you take me out? Can you give me some lessons, some pointers? I pull my head, I pull off. I don't know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing is not right. So can you help me, please, Miss Helen and Mr. Siri Borey? Help me.
There's a call out from AJ.
Help me.
Reggie, come on in, set the ground rules, let everyone know about our Jerry versus Jones debate. We have a new sponsor as well. That's a little premature showing that. We don't need to see that right now.
What's up, guys? What's up? Thanks for having me on again. We are 1-1 on the debate segment. I know this debate topic is going to bring out the fight, especially in Adam. So for a little context, we will be debating how much space should an athlete have. I know personally seeing Adam out to dinner with family and him saying no to pictures, no to signing autographs. But again, is that appropriate, being as though you are a public figure as an athlete? And should athletes just play ball? No pun, all pun intended. Should they play ball when they're in public spaces? You have fans. So again, because Adam won the last debate, he's going to get the first word in the 30-second start time, and then we will pause for a rebuttal. So again, this segment is brought to you all by Wyman Company. Our friend Dennis Wyman is so kind in sponsoring, making us be great. So with all that said, we'll jump right into it. Adam, you're on the clock.
Before I start, Dennis Wyman, the whole Wyman group, whole Wyman family, Mandy, Benjamin, Dylan, we love you. You guys are family. Thanks for supporting us and believing in us. Now, let me get back to this. Leave us the hell alone. Just playing. No, we're not. Athletes love, obviously, we like going out and going to the grocery store, doing all our normal things. We like being normal. We get that our job and being on TV, we make money. We get all those things, the variables that people think that we're famous, that we're just celebrities. We're normal people. I think that if we're in a mall or certain space, certain areas, amusement parks, now they got Topgolf, a different sporting event for a different team. I think those are perfect times to come up to you and say, hey, look, I appreciate how you're doing and all kind of stuff. If I'm sitting down at Ruth's Chris with my family, no.
All right, that's time on Adam's rant and debate argument. All right, Jerry, what you got?
All right, well said. First of all, you're a public figure, and this goes with the territory when you sign a contract. Now, I do agree that if you're sitting down with your family at dinner or with your family at a movie theater or walking through a museum, that's not the right occasion. But more and more, a lot of athletes have become inaccessible because of security. They don't come out and sign autographs before the games or after the games. It's hard to find them. A lot of these autographs you have to pay a lot of money for. And that's why I think people have become more aggressive. I also think social media, gambling, and alcohol have all played a part in that. And you may be approached more and more, especially with the gambling aspect. But I do think that you owe it to your public to at least acknowledge them and explain to them there's a time and place for everything and not be rude.
All right, reel it in. Okay, that was a great first segment. We now have rebuttal. So we will jump over to Adam for his rebuttal.
We owe the fans one thing. We give it our all between the lines. Our contract does not say be friends of people of the city. It says to perform and don't go bungee jumping and doing all that other kind of crap. So, I get it. There's a time and place for everything. But at the same time, there's guys that just like to be left alone. And just because you follow me on social media doesn't mean I'm your friend. Okay? There's a lot of people. If you're not in my phone, you ain't my damn friend. Okay? Just because you tweet me, you ain't my damn friend. Okay?
All right.
I retweeted it.
Hey, reel it in. Here. Order. Order. All right, Jerry. You get the last word.
I just think athletes have to realize when you leave your house, you're recognizable and you're walking into territory that everyone's going to know who you are and know your name. And at times, again, you should relish that because at some point in your career, it's going to end where people are going to leave you alone. So you should take pleasure in that moment for a little bit. But also, I think you owe an explanation to some of these fans and read the contracts a little bit more closely. I believe there's some clauses in there about making public appearances and being nice to fans.
You can make public appearances all you want. Those are
all right. Hey, order.
Right. So you can get paid.
Order.
If I'm going to Wine Merchant, say what's up, Adam. How you doing? Oh, you got the chips. Okay.
Order.
That's a great place to ask for.
We have time for this verdict. Again, this verdict is also brought to you by Wyman Company.
My family, Wymans.
So after a hard-fought debate, the judge is going to give a verdict and side with Adam Jones on this. We have to protect our athletes and
nepotism.
They need all costs, Jerry. All costs. Protect us, Jerry. Okay.
All right, us, brother. That sets up Adams now 2-1. So we will see you next week with a new topic to discuss. And
maybe when he leaves the country, it'll get back to being more fair.
Thank you.
Because I've noticed twice now he has won in Baltimore. Maybe when he gets back out into Europe, I'll be back on top again.
I want to thank our new sponsors, the Wyman Company, Dennis, Mandy, Dylan, Benjamin, Ken. Appreciate you guys for believing in us. We are just out here trying to spread the positivity, have some fun with Jerry, and we greatly, greatly appreciate you guys' sponsorship.
All right, time now for our final segment. Again, folks, you can reach us via social media. I unlocked the DMs, Reggie, on the Adam Jones podcast account. It's at Adam Jones Pod, at Adam Jones Pod, also on Facebook and Instagram, but the Twitter DMs are open. And we got a tweet about the pie in the face I received this past week. First of all, folks, that was my idea to be pied by Adam. What I didn't agree to is the forcefulness. I'm not Manny Machado. I'm not Matt Wieters. And that's why I took the fall that I did. Let's address how it went down, because we got several tweets about this. And people think that I was sabotage. I wasn't sabotage. I was blindsided.
I think this has been everyone in this DMV area, and everyone that went to school with you, everyone that knows you. This was perfect.
I heard from them all.
Don't
show it again. Please don't show it again.
This is what people have been wanting forever, is to just have something like this and record it, because it could have happened at Linwood's, at Ruth's Chris the other night. These funny things could have happened there. But this speaks volumes to, like, everyone felt my hand. Like it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
You were doing it for the rest of Baltimore.
I think there was just this power, like the angels in the outfield, but it was Adam's hand on the pie that just got your little ass.
All right, we can just show the replay again. My footing wasn't great. It was kind of a slippery surface there.
It wasn't slippery. You just
had
bad balance. Socks. That's your fault.
I didn't want to ruin my expensive shoes.
You should have got the socks with the little nubby bottoms that, if you go over to one of the little gyms, you get the little nubby bottoms, little jump houses. Dude, you got better balance.
You mean like these?
Yeah, it's just like that. The Pilates shoe socks. But I think every person in the city was like, got him. I don't think it was just me doing that. I think it was the whole metropolitan. They got you.
Yeah, I'm sure they all loved it. I know I heard from a lot of them on social media. Again, at Adam Jones Pod. I think Adam's retweeted that enough, and we won't be duplicating that again. But thanks to the folks at the Baltimore Banner and thebaltimorebanner.com. Let's end on that note. Go drink some Jack Daniels, will ya?
It's too early.
Thanks to our friends at Jack Daniels. There are lots of ways to make whiskey, but there's only one way to make Jack Daniels. Make it count. Jack Daniels. Please drink responsibly. A reminder, go out and get the Baltimore Banner. Visit thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ to get started for 6 weeks of unlimited digital access for just $1. Again, thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ for just $1. By Be More Around Town. Check out their upcoming tailgate experiences, whether it be in New Orleans or Jacksonville or the games here in Baltimore. Head to BeMoreAroundTown.com. And G-Leaf Medical Cannabis Company. Visit G-Leaf. I think Adam may have or may will or should. Or
I've seen the plant. It's really, 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 really
big
cool
plants.
Big plants. Big operation.
Medical marijuana is only for patients only. For qualified Maryland patients, head to gleaf.com. Want to thank our executive senior producer, emphasis on senior, Chip Franklin, for putting this together. And go out and subscribe to BaltimoreBanner.com. We'll be back next week. Same time, same channel. Thanks for showing that one more time.
Hey, baby Chip.
Find us on social media. Have a great day.